Hey, I'm Diane Prince, entrepreneur coach. I built a $50 million business and sold it to a public company. Since then, I've had a few other exits, and I help entrepreneurs, business owners to start, scale, and sell their businesses. I also answer questions that I see either people ask me directly or that I see posted on the internet. So I've got a question that came in through LinkedIn, and the question was because I had shared about once when I did work for somebody else after not having worked for anyone else for over 2 decades. And the question was, you worked for someone else after years of being an entrepreneur. I'm trying to do the same, but can't find a job. This video is for all the entrepreneurs who need to get a job for whatever reason it might be. Like the entrepreneurial path is not linear. And it doesn't mean that just because you had some successes or even a wild success that you don't need to at some point get a job. And I'll share my experience when I was in that position after a divorce and after some other things that I might write about one day. But I found myself a single mom, and it was fitting at that time for me to get a job. So what I did is, at first, I sort of wallowed in some self-pity and ruminated and thought and worried and thought, nobody's going to, who would hire me when I've been an entrepreneur for like 25 years? And then I stopped and I thought, okay, what do I bring to the table, right? Instead of like what is weird about me or what doesn't work, and I have a lot of experience, obviously, in building businesses and all different aspects of business. So I decided first to stop thinking about what I didn't have or what was weird about me as a candidate. And instead, I put that aside because those were things I couldn't change. I was also a woman in my late 40s. So there were a lot of things that I could have said, oh, I'm an older woman, or not older, but you know what I mean. But, and this and that, and it's going to be hard. And so instead I decided to be really systematic about it. And I ran my job search like I would run a sales campaign, or when I'm starting up a business and I'm working on getting sales. So I put it into a CRM. I used HubSpot, my job search, that is. I got really systematic, and I focused on the things that I bring to the table that I can do. And I did a combination of what I would call like long outreach or really personal outreach, where I connected with businesses that I was really interested in working for, or I had some kind of connection. And so then I'd write out a cover letter and all the things they tell you you're supposed to do. I also set my alarm every day. I had to reach out. I had to spend 10 minutes a day, and it sounds like a really small amount of time, but you can get so much done in a concentrated 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day. I told people I knew who didn't already know that I was looking for a job. So I reached out for 10 minutes. I just let different people know, hey, I'm looking for a job opportunity, whatever I called it, and who do you know? So there was that set time. I did the long outreach. I didn't set a time for that, but I did a few a week. And then I also incorporated the LinkedIn quick apply button. So I did like all these different, that was a friend of mine who hadn't worked in years. She was staying at home with her kids, and she was telling me she's like, yeah, when I'm in bed, I just look at the not the most relaxing thing to do in bed, but if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably used to doing unrelaxing things in bed. So I did that, and I just would do like the quick apply. And then so it was a combination of all of those things, besides networking and all that stuff. But when you're in a place where sometimes you don't always, networking isn't always, I don't know, I'm a big networker, but it's not always the most efficient thing. Or if you're feeling like you're kind of down, it's not always the best from my experience. So basically I sat behind a computer. This was before COVID, and did these different things that I was very systematic about. And then I also put the follow-ups in HubSpot, or you could use another CRM. You could use Mixmax is great for email tracking, so you can see when people open your emails. You can also schedule out emails in advance. So I use technology to manage my job search like it was a job. Then this was really important too. Every night I wrote down a list of all the things that I did that day, because when you're job searching, it can be really disheartening, and it can be when you get rejected, like you will a lot, or you'll get ghosted. So what really helped is looking back at, okay, these are the things, these are the actions that I took today. These are all the things that I did, because when it seemed like the needle wasn't moving, that was really helpful to look at the things that I had actually done. So, and I set my goal to get a I wanted in the six-figure, like certain six-figure amount by the end of 3 months. And then I thought, okay, then I'm going to teach other people, which I haven't done yet. So this is like the first step, the first video on that. So I did. And what was crazy is I got into final stages with 3 different companies. And this is funny too, because going back to that, who would hire me because I'm an entrepreneur, 2 companies asked me to take personality tests. And one was somebody who a mutual business contact had referred me to, and I had taken her out to coffee. She introduced me to somebody who I would have actually done a good job for them. They had me do a personality test, and then the company that ended up hiring me had me do the same personality test, and that was through LinkedIn Quick Apply. Okay, the company they told me the results of my personality test, and it was unemployable. So that test said that I could not, and it was because I am an entrepreneur. I have an entrepreneurial personality. The other company that had me do the same test, I never heard back from them. And I followed up several times, never heard back. So it was, in the end of the day, it was one of those quick applies, and I went through like 3 rounds of interviews, and I also stayed on top of it. I wanted to show them while you're interviewing, it's important to show people how you're going to show up as an employee. So follow-up to me was incredibly important. It always is during the job interview stage. So I followed up with them. They were in the middle of moving offices. I really wanted the job. I kept in touch. I kept a communication going, and stayed in their face, basically called them, and they did hire me. And at the end of the day, I was there about 1.5 years, and I wanted to go back into my own business again. But it was a really good experience, and I was so grateful that they told me, you came back as your personality test came back as unemployable, but we still want to hire you and take a chance on you. So I'm going to end with there's the right employer out there who's going to appreciate you for what you bring to the table. So same exact test. One person never heard back from. One person was like, we're going to take a chance on you. And I was there for that time period and helped them build up the business, and they hired me to help them build up their one of their divisions of their business, which I did, and it was great. And we left on amicable terms. So if you are an entrepreneur, sometimes you do need to look for a job. Sometimes that might be part of your path. And I also do free speed coaching. So I'm going to add the link here, and I'd love to see you there.